Salibonani. I'm going to quickly show you how to enable onion skin in Grease Pencil when you're using Blender. So firstly, you have to make sure that you have onion skin enabled on your overlay properties. That's one thing that some people miss. So you have that enabled, and you make sure that on your layer properties, which is obviously under the Grease Pencil option here, this is Blender 2.8 by the way, you have to make sure that you have onion skin enabled here as well. I missed that initially, so just make sure you have that enabled for onion skin. And additionally, just for being safe, just make sure you have it enabled here at the bottom as well. So this is under the Grease Pencil the properties. So just make sure that you have it enabled on your overlay, have it enabled here on the layer itself, because you might have it enabled on a different layer or not have it enabled at all. Have it enabled there, and then have it enabled well, here you don't have to enable it, it's just the properties. So you have to say whether you want the keyframes to appear per frame, or like per frame regardless of whether or not you have keyframes, or per keyframe, so your previous onion skin will be on your will make your previous keyframe visible, or the selected keyframe, so you can just select a keyframe after you create it. I'm just gonna, now that you've seen it, if you can stop the video here, but for anyone else that wants to see what onion skin is all about, I'm just gonna carry on. So say I've got a ball here that I'm sketching up, a very inaccurate ball. You can see it automatically adds the keyframe here. If I don't have onion skin on and I move on to my next frame, and I try and say, okay, I want my ball to be somewhere here now, what's gonna happen firstly is that I'm not gonna have a sense of scale in terms of the size of my ball. So that means that going back and forth, while I try to eyeball it, but it's really not a good way to work. So I could even keep going forward like that, just keep going forward like that. It'll really become difficult to anticipate, and probably by the time I get to the end, I really have no sense of direction, I've got no sense of scale, I've got no sense of just everything, even timing wise. I'm not too sure where my ball should end up. So you'll find out that the first ball and the last ball won't really be in very good. Well, this is pretty decent considering there's been no onion skin on. But if you follow those instructions I gave in the beginning of the video, oh, my son's got a little cough. Shut up, my friend. Yeah, so if you enable onion skin based on the way I just showed you, you can then see it. As you can see, as soon as I enabled it there for that particular layer, I can start to see the next layer and the next frame and the previous frame as I move from frame to between the frames. So now it's easier. If I was to delete all these keyframes and I create my ball here, and I move on to the next frame, I'm no longer eyeballing because I can actually see my my previous frame. So now I'm most likely gonna be more accurate because I can actually see the overlay of the previous frames. Now I now kind of have an idea on how to exaggerate it if I am going to exaggerate it. So we kind of squash it a little bit like that. So we can even increase the number of frames that we see before, so that makes it even easier. And yeah. Kind of make it snap a little bit. Well, I'm sure right now I'm just running with it, but I should be going back and forth to just check if what I'm doing is looking okay. But yeah, this is probably very extreme, but it's easier with what do you call it, with the onion skinning on. Now I've got my little ball splatting here, and it's pretty, pretty decent. But it's a bit more, it's accurate now, obviously, because I've got onion skinning on. So yeah, that's my little lesson on onion skinning and its benefits. It would really be difficult to try and do frame by frame animation without onion skin. Anyway, hope you liked the video. Please subscribe, drop a like if you liked the video. If you want more tutorials, just leave some comments. And yep, I'll do my best to cover those. Thanks guys, cheers.